Tonight, the plan to reopen Texas. Schools, however, not included. They will remain closed, but some businesses can reopen under strict guidelines. We're laying out how it will happen and what's being done to keep you safe. Stimulus check confusion. Many of you say you still haven't received your money from the IRS. So what's the holdup? We're getting answers. And faith and harmony. An 81-year-old trumpet player unites a community with music during these tough times. Good evening, I'm Len Cannon, once again reporting from home. Tonight, Texas making its first step to try and reopen the economy. We know a lot of you definitely need to get back to work, but folks, this is not going to happen all at one time. The governor's saying it'll happen in stages with your health and safety the top priority. Let's check today's numbers, shall we? Right now, there are more than 6,500 people infected with COVID-19 in the Houston area. 117 people have died. 1,400 people have recovered. The governor stresses we need to keep practicing social distancing. He said it over and over today, from keeping schools closed to retail to go. Adam Bennett breaks down the game plan and what you can expect in the coming weeks.
Well, Lynn, Governor Abbott says he wants to reopen stores like these in a safe way without spreading the virus. He says it's a process that must be guided by data and doctors. He said a newly formed strike force of state officials and medical advisors will help him do just that. They'll work with business and community leaders like Mattress Mac, Tillman Fertitta, and Nancy Kinder. Monday, state parks will reopen. Visitors will have to cover their face, keep 6 feet apart from people they don't live with, and limit groups to 5 people or less. Then Wednesday, current restrictions on surgery will be loosened.
This will allow doctors to diagnose and treat more medical conditions without needing to get an exception. Just one example of this would be a diagnostic test for suspected cancer.
The state will also enhance protections on seniors in nursing homes and assisted living centers.
We are requiring infection control policies, and we are minimizing the movement of staff between those facilities.
Then, starting next Friday, the governor will allow retail to go.
It will not allow people to go into these retail stores. It will simply allow them to be able to pick up items at a drive-through situation or delivery to their home.
And the governor says he'll announce more openings April 27th and in May, depending on the data and advice from his medical team. Now, he says those businesses would have to follow strict guidelines like occupancy and distance limits, requiring masks, and also more strict sanitation. Len?
Things will be a lot different whenever it happens. Adam, thank you. Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo today stressing everybody should stay home until the county reaches a peak in cases. She says we are, however, on the right track. She says before the county can reopen, we need more affordable and quick testing. She's not giving a date on reopening just yet, but says when it does happen, you should expect to see protective measures everywhere, like masks and gloves. But for now, Hidalgo says we need more data before we can reopen.
Settling into complacency right now would be catastrophic. Right now is precisely the worst time to let our guard down, because we may be close to the maximum of cases. And we're either going to go back up and go to where we know we shouldn't, or we're going to be able to make it through to the other side and recover and show how it's done, how a community makes it through this.
Mayor Sylvester Turner also remains cautious tonight. Tonight, Sherman Chow looks at why the mayor says the city is not quite ready to reopen just yet.
Yeah, he is going to announce a local leader to help head up guidelines for opening up Houston. He'll have more information about that on Monday. Mayor seeming more cautious than the governor, saying that reopening without widespread testing, in his opinion, is a misstep. Turner talked about Houston's successes and that city testing sites had done their maximum number of 1,000 yesterday, would likely repeat that again today. He also emphasized the continued importance of social distancing, saying that gated parking at city parks would be closed so folks don't drive, park, or gather there. That's for the weekend.
The Parks Department will limit access to parking lots adjacent to the parks. Because again, we want to make sure that we're engaging in social distancing.
HPD Chief Acevedo also giving a crime update.
is assaults continue to be at about 10% up since COVID stay-at-home order and the closure started, the essential business order started, and our burglary of buildings are actually up to 30%.
Mayor Turner did agree with the governor's shutdown of schools for the rest of the semester, but said he is still processing those statewide orders which were announced earlier today. Back to you.
All right, Sharon Min, thank you. The state may be taking steps to reopen, but schools will remain closed for the remainder of the year. Jason Miles looks at what this means for your kids.
I'm at Houston's Lamar High School. It and every other public school, private school, college, and university will remain closed. That means distance learning and other social distancing measures will continue for the remainder of the 2019-2020 school year. And a number of districts are already planning virtual graduations for high school seniors. Here's more on what the governor had to say, plus the state's top teachers union leader, both of whom are on the same page.
The team of doctors advising us have determined that it would be unsafe to allow students together in schools for the foreseeable future.
And opening for these few weeks potentially could have caused us to delay the opening of school in August. And I think that's the last thing anyone wants.
The Texas Education Agency said today that it continues to work with individual districts to ensure kids are getting what they need, including free meals and support services. As you know, HISD has been working with the Houston Food Bank to distribute meals to students and their families. That's something that will continue. And we've gotten statements from a number of Houston area districts today regarding the governor's decision. One superintendent said he really appreciates what students, especially seniors, have been doing during this very challenging time. Back to you.
Jason, thank you. Now, we rolled out something new today. Simply text the word Texas to 713-526-1111. We'll send you a link to the timeline on the key dates the governor mentioned today, what it means for businesses and schools, and we'll bring you live coverage when the governor announces more details on Monday. Now, some of you may be able to get back to work soon, but others are relying on those stimulus checks. And we keep hearing that many of you are still waiting for your money. So we're answering the top 3 questions that you have tonight. All right, here we go. Follow along. First, if the money went to the wrong account or into an account that does not exist, if it's an account that has been closed, folks, the IRS says the bank will reject the check and the money will be sent back to the IRS. And they will send it to you in the mail to the most recent address they have on file. Number 2, if you normally get your tax refunds on a prepaid debit card like H&R Block's Emerald card, here's what you need to know. If you no longer have that card, they say they will reissue a card. You can also get a replacement card from TurboTax in 8 to 10 days, and replacement fees will be waived. Number 3, if you had a child recently and haven't been able to claim them, here's what the experts say. If you don't get all the money you qualify for, when you file your 2020 taxes, you should be able to get that $500 later. And again, here's another word. Text MONEY to 713-526-1111, and we'll send you answers to all the other frequently asked questions, as well as how you can check the status of that stimulus check. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk about the weather. Cool and sunny and a simply fantastic week, but now it is starting to warm up and starting to feel a little bit more like Texas. David Paul is tracking rain and the clouds. What are you seeing out there, David?
You mentioned it. What a swing we've had this week, from sunny and chilly to now this cloudy, very humid. We've got some little sprinkle showers out there looking at from the Zaza toward the Med Center with our TXU WeatherBug camera. And although it's been very warm today, Houston currently 77. Look, Austin's at 61, Dallas is at 54, and you can see the leading edge of a cold front that is going to move through the area this evening. So we stay very mild, 70s through 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock with a slight shower chance, and then we drop into the 60s as that front passes through. Cool and dreary and a little rainy Saturday, maybe some storms on Sunday. A closer look at that weekend forecast in just a couple of minutes, Len Cannon.
Thanks, David. And tonight, coming up next, a Cypress man bringing music to unite neighbors.
Don't worry if you can't get out to renew your vehicle registration. I'm Tiffany Craig. To help Texans avoid crowds and in-person contact, the state won't charge penalties if you're late on vehicle registration, disabled parking placards, or titling your car. The temporary waiver applies up to 60 days after the disaster is over.